Good evening, it's nice to see you again on VITV with Into Vietnam. Today in the headlines. Vietnam has the fastest growing middle class in the Southeast Asia. VITV listing is expected to boost Vietnam's stock market liquidity. And the index of industrial production will grow 6.3% this year. According to the latest survey conducted by the Boston Consulting Group, Vietnam has been cited as having the fastest growing middle class in the Southeast Asian region. The middle class is expected to rise 33 million by 2020, almost triple the 12 million in 2012, and average per capita income is projected to increase by $3,400 each year. The BCG survey also shows the Vietnamese customer are the most optimistic in the world, with more than 90% believing the living conditions are higher than their parents, and that the quality of life will continue to rise. Additionally, despite short-term global economic problems, 70% says Vietnam's economy is improving and stated they intend to increase the purchases in the future. Vietnam has become an attractive destination for foreign investors in recent years. Retail giants like McDonald's, KFC, Starbucks, Pizza Hut, or Burger King also penetrated the Vietnamese market. Companies investing in Vietnam have opportunities to brand their trademarks and get on the pathway to economic growth. BCG also warned they can only gain success if they master an understanding of customer and their demands. The Bank for Investment and Development of Vietnam, or VITV, the nation's second-largest lender by assets, will begin trading on the local exchange this week as regulators seek to boost stock market liquidity and make banks more transparent. VITV will list 2.81 billion shares on the Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange with an initial price of 18,700 dong each. The company won't be raising any new capital. VITV listing may have boosted the size and liquidity of Vietnam's $49 billion stock market, the best performer in Southeast Asia last year. The listing will add more depth to the market and broaden the choices for investors. It will also add some more transparency to the banking system. The benchmark VN index rose 22% in 2013 as inflation eased. The government purchased bad loans from banks and investors. Speculative policy makers will reduce restriction on foreign investors. The industry and trade sector of Vietnam expects the index of industrial production, or IIP, to grow 6.3% this year as the world economy recovers, helping to boost exports. Industrial production showed signs of recovery in 2013, with the IIP growing 5.9% and inventories decreasing. A Vietnam Chamber of Commerce survey showed 42.5% of companies plan to expand business in 2014, while 50.7% maintain their production scale, showing enterprises fear a better business year coming in 2014. However, Vietnam's macroeconomy did not fully stabilize, and according to the Ministry of Industry and Trade, Vietnam will stay dependent on the world economy and thus vulnerable to global fluctuations. Therefore, it's suggested that restructuring will continue to be a priority this year. The southern province of Bình Dương attracted $300 million of foreign direct investment in the first 20 days of this year alone. The number is 3 times higher than that of the same period last year, showing the province is on track to fulfill its target of luring $1 billion in FDI for the whole year. Notably, the Kraft Vina Paper Company added $150 million to its business expansion plan in 2014. Its first $180 million paper factory was put into operation in 2010 in an effort to stand ready for the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is expected to be signed this year. The province has established a new 300 hectares industrial park and approved the planning of construction of 15 others. Despite economic difficulties in 2013, Bình Dương lured over $1.3 billion in FDI, including $800 million poured in 125 newly licensed projects. The Ministry of Industry and Trade says Vietnam has set its sights on an import-export growth of 10% on year in 2014, with a particular focus on reducing the trade deficit. This is a big target. It means that the country has to earn $147 billion while keeping the trade deficit at 6%, or around $9 billion. To realize the target, the ministry will increase trade promotion overseas with a view to boosting key Vietnam export items. Vietnam has 22 hard foreign currency earners, such as seafood, wooden items, electronics, processed industry, and transport, with export revenues of $1 billion each year. According to the ministry, Vietnam's major export items, including agricultural products, clothing, and footwear, are set to benefit from favorable conditions introduced by the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which is expected to be concluded this year. Some foreign trade news will continue the program.
According to the Vietnam Textile and Apparel Association, or VITV, Vietnam earned $8.6 billion from textile and garment products to the U.S. market in 2013, a year-on-year increase of 40.2%. During the period, the sector's export value, excluding $600 million earned from apparel material, reached nearly $20 billion, up around 17% against 2012, with yarn fiber and clothing shipments estimated at $2.13 billion and $17.89 billion respectively. Textile and garment exports currently account for over one-third of the country's total export to the U.S., valued at $25 billion. As per said, if the Trans-Pacific Partnership or TPP agreement is realized soon, Vietnam's textile and garment exports to the U.S. could hit around $10 billion this year, with the number set to double by 2020. According to Spain Customs statistics, two-way trade between Vietnam and Spain hit more than 1.65 billion euros in the first 9 months of 2013, a year-on-year increase of 13.6%. Of the total, Vietnamese exports rose 9% to 1.468 billion euros, and its imports soared 20% to 182.7 million euros. Vietnam military's machinery, electric and electronic appliances, footwear and accessories, garments, coffee, mechanical equipment, seafood, handbags, purses, cases, and rubber to the South European nation. It imports seafood, chemicals, mechanical equipment, plastics, dyeing substances, tent hide, electrical equipment, animal feed, and pharmaceuticals. Two-way trade hit a record high of 2.3 billion euros in 2012 for the first time, up 19.4% over the previous year.
In 2014, the reformed GSP law by EU will officially take effect. In this new regulation, Vietnam is still in the list of enjoying GSP preferential tariffs, with increased number of preferential tariff lines. Although the growth limit rises from 15% to 17.5% for all export items, except the garment and textile industry, with the growth limit increasing from 12.5% to 14.5%. This advantage is worrying Vietnamese exporters that are bringing them good news.
One of the sectors benefiting from GSP preferential tariffs is footwear. According to the new GSP law, apart from existing items enjoying GSP preferential tariffs of the EU, there will be two more groups to enjoy this tariff. They are footwear and hat and umbrella.
4 là GSP của châu Âu, họ sẽ áp vào cho Việt Nam. Việt Nam được hưởng thêm cái thuế suất này, có nghĩa là giảm được khoảng 3 đến 3,5% khi xuất khẩu hàng qua châu Âu. Thành ra các đối tác bắt đầu họ quay lại Việt Nam để đặt đơn hàng. Tại vì cái GSP của Việt Nam bị cắt năm 2009 thì 1 tháng 1 năm 2014 này bắt buộc cái GSP của châu Âu sẽ cấp lại, thì ngành này lúc đó sẽ phát triển hơn.
Và chính phủ đàm phán về cái thuế ưu đãi thuế quan GSP đã được châu Âu chấp nhận và triển khai từ ngày 1 tháng 1 năm 2014. Đây là một điều rất tích cực để cho các doanh nghiệp da giày Việt Nam phát triển và các đơn hàng của cả Trung Quốc họ sẽ có xu hướng chuyển về Việt Nam.
There won't be more orders and the footwear sector will develop. However, if other countries like China move production to Vietnam and turn their products to made in Vietnam to enjoy GSP tariffs, the exports will suddenly go sharply and may reach the growth limit. The risk is foreseeable when the new GSP law is now applied for only 89 countries instead of 176 countries like before. This is also the biggest risk for our major exports because it's easy to hit the growth limit and be unable to enjoy GSP anymore.
GSP sẽ không tồn tại mãi mãi được. Nó có mấy cái thứ nhất là khi mà chúng ta tăng bán hàng lên chúng ta có thể đạt cái ngưỡng trưởng thành thì lúc chúng ta sẽ không được hưởng GSP nữa. Và thứ hai là cái việc mà chúng ta có cái nguồn gốc nhiều từ Trung Quốc thì chắc chắn là các bạn cũng sẽ có cái xem xét. Đấy, và chúng ta đã biết rằng cái chu kỳ hiện nay họ đưa ra là 3 năm họ xem xét lại một lần.
The coffee sector is another example. The market share of this sector, according to the current GSP, is 12.11%. If the new GSP law is applied, the market share of Vietnamese coffee may reach 21.68%, thus passing the growth limit. The Vietnamese footwear sector had just been eligible for GSP by EU, but after China is excluded from the list of beneficiaries, the market share of the sector hit 34%, higher than the growth limit. Another export item facing the risk of not eligible for the new GSP is seafood, with the new market share up to 19%, also larger than its growth limit. Other groups at risk of hitting the growth limit are plastic and apparel, due to the market share of Vietnamese plastic exported to the EU under the new GSP law will be 16.04%, and this figure for Vietnamese apparel exported to the EU will be 10.5%. It poses a risk of hitting growth limit of 17.5% under the new GSP law. Besides, the domestic trade fraud is one of the concerns for our export items when the new GSP set by the EU takes effect from the January 1st, 2014.
And the program will wrap up with local gold prices, forex, and stock markets. Well, that's the news on VITV. Thank you so much for your time with us. We'll see you later and goodbye.